Oh, look at that. All right, guys, we're ready. So you got the slides. All right, so perfect. So, well, I guess thank you two for making me do this.
Yeah,
they made me do
Ashley.
this. They called me and said, you need to do this presentation about wealth building because they've heard it before. We talk about these things all the time, but now we want to bring it to you all. So we've got, like 25 people on Zoom and 20 people here. So congratulations for being here. And I hope that my goal is that I want to teach you guys how to leverage yourself and build financial freedom while doing that, because all of us are in the real estate business, which is an amazing business, has brought us so much financial gain, I should say, but 18 years into the business and I woke up going, I'm not financially free. I have a great job. So that's my goal today, is to figure out for yourselves, how do you leverage yourself? How do you build financial freedom through multiple streams of income? And today I'm gonna be completely transparent about Kevin and my life. We're gonna be talking about money, and it's kind of a taboo subject, but I want you guys to know that it can be done. I grew up in a poor family. We worked our butts off. We were consistent with our savings and different things that we did over a decade. So for all of you that just got your license 2 months in the business, 1 year in the business, think about this plan that we talk about today for the next decade. Don't think, oh, I'm going to do this, it's overwhelming and I'll never be able to do it. No, you will. And think about your age in the next decade. How old will you be in 10 years? 30. So I started this when I was 33. And I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I was like, well, I don't want to be poor dad. I want to be rich mom one day to my son. So he can come to me and say, Mom, how do I make money? And I'll say, son, this is how we did it. And I truly wanted to be the rich mom, not the poor mom. So we are going to talk about taboo subject, which is money. And you're going to see some of our financial wins, I guess, and we're proud of those, but we don't want you to think we're showing you this so we can be like boasting how great we are. We want this to be an inspiring meeting so you can go, I think I can do it too. So they say that most millionaires have 7 streams of income, and most multi-millionaires have 7 streams of income. So think in your mind, how many streams of income do I have right now? Most of the time people have 1. I had 1. We had 1. Go work, go sell a house and make a living. And so when I woke up one day and I was like, I don't feel financially free, I looked at the fact that I only had 1 stream of income and I needed more. So I came up in my mind with, what do I want that to look like in the next 5 years? And I love research and development, and that's where I got the book and I started to read about investing. So what does financial freedom look like to you? What does it actually mean to be financially free? So I'm gonna have this be an audience participation. Tell me, one of you courageous ones, in your mind, what would being financially free mean? Anyone?
Like your business being able to operate when you're not always there.
Perfect. She said your business not needing you basically to operate. So it continues to cash flow without her being there. What else? What does it mean to be financially free in your mind?
When your money has made enough money that it continues to make money and you don't have to do anything.
Exactly, Terry. Thank you. So your money puts overalls on and it continues to go make babies, right? Your money just keeps laying more money. And that is financial leverage. I love that. So for me, being financially free in my mind is doing what I want, when I want, with the people that I want, and not worrying about how much does that cost, right? I grew up with a mom that we went to the store, and if bread was 25 cents cheaper at the Farmer Jack up in Michigan, we left the store to go buy the cheaper 25% off bread. And I used to think as a child, I never want to live that way. That's a weird thing to think about when you're 7 years old in a car going, I don't want a coupon shop. I have never used a coupon at a grocery store. Now, I know they're wonderful and people use them, and we all have our little discount cards now, which we do use, but it was something that meant so much to me not to use those coupons because I saw my mother struggling, for money back then. So, and I know with Ashley, we've been to the store before. I'm like, buy that bag, buy that purse. I want people to not feel like a fear to spend money, because if you have this mindset that money comes easy. What do you have on your phone, honey, for years? Money comes easy. It's something that we started to say to ourselves, an affirmation. Money comes easy. Money is abundant. Money is an energy, and we attract it to ourselves. That might sound hokey for some of you, but but I promise you it works. So if you right now feel like, oh, I don't have enough money, then really you're just projecting, you're manifesting less money. So you want to just feel like money constantly flows to you. Being an entrepreneur and a business owner for me was a dream. And I watched my father build and fail at many, many businesses. So for me as 22 years old, 23 years old, it was normal to just, let me go get my real estate license. Let me try this, because I didn't really have a college education because I dropped out of college. So to watch him take risk after risk after risk, and finally in his 60s, something stuck. That was pretty cool. So luckily for us, we got our real estate license early on, and real estate stuck, and it was great for us. So how many in the room consider themselves an entrepreneur right now? Everybody, right? And so the definition of an entrepreneur is one person who is in control of the operational and monetary aspects of your business. So you are the entrepreneur, usually a party of one in real estate, and you're in control of all operations and all monetary aspects of your business. And in real estate, it usually is just one person. However, most of us are also the only employee of that business. You hit it perfectly, right? If something were to happen, if you were to leave town for a month or two and not answer your phone and not do your deals, what would happen to the cash flow of our business as real estate agents? It goes away. So I woke up one day 18 years into my 21-year career and went, oh my God, I have a really great job. I'm selling a lot of homes. I have a fantastic job. But if my job were to end because I couldn't go out and sell a home, we really didn't build anything. We were glorified high income earners. And thankfully we had spent our money wisely, but that's all we were high income earners. So that's the goal for today, is to think about your leverage. How do I build leverage into my real estate business as an entrepreneur, so I can step away one day in the future or create multiple streams of income, so I don't have to be a slave to that, constant clock of meeting these clients. So hopefully we can inspire you to build that foundation a little bit differently with those multiple pieces of leverage. So we want you guys to figure out how to become financially free. So let's look at the first slide. I'm going to go into my story because I think everybody's going to have a different plan of action in their mind. So I got my real estate license at 23 years old. By the time I was 27, I ran into a real estate coaching company. And that coaching company shifted my life and my career. So my old mantra was, if it's to be, it's up to me. In fact, I kept a little note card that my coach, Kathy Anderson, sent me, and I still have it on my little wall today that I look at. But I have now crossed off the, if it's to be, it's up to me. And I've changed it to, if it's to be, it's up to we. And so that's what my team looks like today. So that was me about 8 years ago, and that's our team today. And it's awesome because we can give opportunity to a lot of different people based on the success that I've personally had. And now I can sort of gift that to other people. So we've built a team. A team is a wonderful opportunity to give back to other people, to start their businesses, and to also grow your business in the meantime. So my story is we grew up in Michigan and got my license at 23. And by 2006, so I joined in 2001, the real estate, my real estate career started. In 2006, the market started to tank and crash. So I was making about $100,000 consistently every year. Kevin was making about 150. We were in our 20s making over $250,000 a year. That was amazing money back then. Our parents thought we had made it. We were rich. That was it. We were the richest people in our family. But then the market tanked and my income went down to $40,000 a year. And I wasn't having fun anymore. I was like, this business is cool, but for $40,000, I'm not into it. Thankfully, I always say a magical fairy came into my life named Mike Ferry. That was the coaching company that was exposed to me. And based on that coaching, which I jumped right into, could not afford it at the time, $1,000 a month, I took my income from 40,000 back to about 130,000. But the one thing that coaching company did was it taught me personally to think bigger. Because what happened was I went from my small circle of 7 people in my office, who I became a mirror of. We sold about 25 to 30 homes a year. I was a top producer at my little small firm in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, and I became the equivalent of all those people. Nobody else thought any bigger. But the minute I exposed myself to a coaching firm where I was with 1,000 agents that were selling multiple hundreds and hundreds of homes, I came back going, honey, we can do more. We can do more. Like, there's a world out there. There's people that know a structure and a system. And if we just follow the system, I have the roadmap, then we can do it. And my roadmap was pick up the phone, call expireds and FSBOs, hate your life for about 3 or 4 years because it sucks. But I could gain results really quickly, right? I'm a high D driver. I want results fast. So I don't care about the experience. I want the result, and I'm going to do the hard things to get there. So with that coaching company, thinking bigger was, where would you like to be one day? What do you want to have? And I said, well, I would like to have sunshine a lot more in my life than I do now, because I live somewhere where the wind hurts my face. And my coach said, well, where? And I said, North Carolina. We want to live in North Carolina. And so within a couple years, we developed a plan, and Kevin and I in 2009 moved to North Carolina. In North Carolina, I didn't have time to, I looked at Marty Hampton, and I looked at Linda Kraft, and I looked at all the powerhouses, Jim Allen in the area. I didn't have time to build what they built. And when I talked to them, because I actually went and talked to some of the top producers, they had been in the industry for 20 years. We just got here, we had $100,000, our net worth was $100,000 in 2010. We had a little bit of savings, and that was it. We rented a house for $1,600 a month, and we had about 6-8 months to make this happen. So I had to pick up the phone and prospect. And I find that a lot of times agents have a comfort somewhere, and they don't have to do the hard things, so they don't. And so for us, he came into my office one day and said, hi, we have like 20 grand left in the bank, and we're going to be moving back to Michigan in about a month and a half, unless you sell more homes. And he was on the back end doing all the laborious, boring tasks that I hate, and I was the front person for the business. So I did the harder things, and within, I would say 6 months, we sold 30 homes, got $200,000 back in the bank. And from there, in 4 years, I went from selling 0 homes to 130 homes a year, myself personally, with Kevin and one assistant, Kelly. Oh yeah, thank you. And so that sounds amazing, right? You're going, wow, that's a lot of money, and you're doing well. But at the end of the day, I miss dinners. I miss vacation time. I was on vacation, but on my phone. Who's been on vacation and on their phone? Yeah, it's not fun, right? You're watching your friends party at the bar, and you're like, I'll be right back. Or the kids are playing Monopoly, and you're like, hold on, I'll be back in 15 minutes. Well, that turns into an hour and a half because you have to make multiple calls, and it sucks. And you start going, oh, I make a lot of money, but am I really living? Do I really have a life? Because I'm a slave to this business. And so I was at RE/MAX at the time, and I realized I was paying RE/MAX $700,000 in that time that I was there. And I thought, did I get the value on my investment? And the answer to me was no at the time. And so what I did was, I was being recruited by Keller Williams, which is a great company. And I decided to take that money that I was paying RE/MAX, that $100,000, and I decided that I was going to build a team, because that's what they tell you in the industry. You go from individual agent, then you build a team, then you step out of the business, and then you're stuck on this hamster wheel of recruiting agents to your team, and then they grow and some leave you. I mean, I have an agent right here today, one of my lovely friends, who was on my team, right? But what's beautiful, and you'll see at the end of a few of these slides, is she's still on my team. She's not on call group, but she's still on my team. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But what I did was I hired an operational manager, and I said, okay, I'm selling 130 homes a year. I don't have time to be a broker, owner, a trainer, running agents around, teaching them how to sell homes, because I need to make an income. But if I take some of that income, if I take back $100,000 of my income and I invest it in leverage and in another human, that human can start building this secondary business, right? So we went to KW with the promise of building that 7th level team. And I was taught the importance of recruiting there, because leaders recruit. If you want to build a business, you're going to have to learn how to attract people to your business, whether you have a shop, right? You need employees, or you have a real estate business. You have to be a good recruiter if you ever have dreams of growing a real estate team, you have to attract people to your team. I call myself an agent attractor, not a recruiter. So the piece that was missing at KW was exactly this. Jen Cervera joins my team. Jen Cervera leaves my team after 2 years. We're still friends, but there's no financial alignment between us. And that was great. And It's something that happens to team leaders all the time in the nation, not just our area. I wanted to fix that piece. So for me, my story was I joined EXP in 2019, and that fixed my puzzle. And what I'm going to show you today is team building from the ground up, virtual team building, and the first hire that you should make if you're an individual agent, 2 months in the business or 2 years in the business, how to scale it. So I'll show you guys that. We created our Freedom Builders Mastermind, which I think all of you can be a part of at any time, because we want you to be in this world of people that are thinking bigger, and the exposure to that will be huge. And then my business went from, I hit a ceiling at Keller Williams at 70 million. Like, we could not get past 70 million in volume, which was about 225 transactions. And I know some of you are like, oh, boo-hoo. But when you're driven and you're like, I can't get past this, it was frustrating. I was like, how do we get, and I love research and development. I go to conferences, and I just couldn't get past that. And in our first year at our new firm, we went from 70 million to 125 million. The second year, 125 to 225. And this year we'll be at 450 million. I give the credit to our mastermind group and the collective brain mass that is in these groups, because I'm constantly there and learning and going, oh, that's how he did it. Oh, that's how she did it. Okay, well, that makes sense. And so it lessened the curve for me to get from being a small team owner to now having a thriving business where I can leave the business if I need to. So the best part about the business is we'll sell 1,000 homes this year. I don't sell any homes anymore, right? I'm truly an operational visionary for our team. I'm in the back end. I'm running not the systems, but creating the opportunities for the people that can run the system. So I feel finally I can say I'm financially free. So I want you guys to go back to my life in 2010. And when it was just me, and some of you are going to resonate with this because it's just you right now. This was me doing all the jobs: listing coordinator, buyer closing coordinator, field work, signs and lock boxes. I've put a ton of those on myself in my career. I was the ISA. So the inside sales associate is the person that does what? Makes calls. So who was I for the last 10 years in the Mike Ferry organization? 2 hours a day, I was the ISA making calls. But the minute I stopped making those calls, who was making calls for me? Nobody. So the business stopped. I went off to servicing. So I went from building to servicing. I was the marketing department. I was the sales trainer to myself. Could I do it? Yes. Could I be great for my clients? Yes. Was I burning myself out? Absolutely. And I wasn't doing it efficiently. So looking back as an individual agent with Kevin and a couple people, I'm certain that I lost millions of dollars at that time, not leveraging myself, because I was the one saying, I can do it all. I'm the best at this job. I don't want anyone touching my stuff. I don't want anyone touching my clients because I'm the best. They want me. All my clients want me, me, me. That's a lie. They don't care. They want great service, because I have great agents on our team, and we can pass off clients perfectly to them. We'll sell 1,000 homes, haven't sold one. So my ego told me that I was the best and they wanted me, but that's not true. I just wasn't ready to let go. So time is money. Exchanging time for money on a one-to-one transactional basis has a ceiling. You can only get to about 130 deals before you lose your mind, right? And Liana is a great agent. How many deals last year? 85 deals she did last year herself. That's a lot of transactions. And she, would love to find balance, I'm sure. Is there balance in that?
Trying. I'm 2 years in the training.
She's 2 years in trying.
Try to grow a team.
And hers is going to be mindset. That's it, until she's ready to let go and believe, right? Hers is all mindset. And that's fine, because I was there too. Wouldn't let it go. Longer than her. So we'll get her there faster. But the point is, there's only so much time in the day. There's only one of you. You can only do so much. So you have a ceiling to that. Now, people fail at running teams because they're part-time leaders. So they are running their business here, and then they go, well, I want to build a team, or I need an assistant, or I need an ISA. And the problem is, you're so in the weeds over here that you're not a good leader over there. And that's why I always say, pull back some of that money and invest it, right? Liana has enough money now. She can invest $100,000 in a team leader salary. And I'm picking on her because she's right here.
Okay.
But she's a friend of mine, so I can do that. But if she took back $100,000 of her earnings, which she makes a lot of money, and she invested in a leader that she trusts to now attract agents to her team, because she has a lot of knowledge in her brain, she's just not monetizing it. So I would say, a lot of you, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in the business, if I sat a new agent in front of you 4 years in the business, could you train them how to sell homes? Yeah, you could. And you have a lot more knowledge than 2 months over there, right? And if I hooked you two up in a room and you followed her around every day, your trajectory in the business would be like this, because you're learning from somebody who's already made enough mistakes. And so that's the thing we want to think about. So what's the secret to success? Getting the right people on the bus at the right time. So for us, it's hiring an EOS coach right now for our business and a fractional COO to help. So I got to the point where I looked at my business and went, oh my God, we're going to have a $10 million business. I don't have the business acumen to do that. So I've gotten it to here, but I know I need to take it to the next level. So I've hired a fractional COO, which is a chief operating officer. They have those people out there that come in and help run your company, which is really cool, because I can't do it all. I realize there's a ceiling, and neither can you. So a lot of you are saying, well, okay, I came here to learn how to build wealth. I don't want to build a team. I'm just trying to sell another home. So for you people right now, you're an individual agent or you have a small team, who is the first major hire that an individual agent should have? Who do you think? Transaction coordinator. I mean, a lot of people will say transaction coordinator, and I agree that the transaction coordinator is in there. Most people say an assistant. Hire an assistant, hire an assistant, hire an assistant, right? And that's fine. I hired an assistant when I first started in the business. Kevin was sort of my assistant. That didn't work out. It did not work out. It did not work out. So do not hire your husband as your assistant. It doesn't work out. But we hired an assistant for the business. For me, I don't think it's an assistant. I think it's the growth partner. So I'm going to pick on you now because you're 4 years in the business. Is it just you?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you prospect 2 hours a day, every day, without a doubt?
No.
Okay. Nobody does. So you're fine. If we did, we'd all be rich. We don't. But if you did, do you think that your business would grow?
Yes.
Okay. So you can either hire yourself to be an ISA every single day, which you won't do it because most people don't go towards pain. They go away from pain. They want to go towards pleasure. And we're all realtors. We're high eyes. We love people and we like to have fun, right, Jen Cervera?
Yeah.
Yes. She wants to book a flight out of town every other weekend because no shame in her game and she works hard. But the point is, we want to do that because we're social beings and we're in this business because it's a service business. We want to help people. Right? We love, love, love to help them. But we don't want to sit on the phones as a telemarketer for 4 hours a day. That sucks. So hire somebody to do it. The ISA is the key to running a profitable business because it ensures consistent growth for the future. So if I said to any of you, you're going to hire a $2,000 to $3,000 a month salaried employee, and you're going to pay them a percentage of the deals that come in, and that ISA makes you 4 appointments a week. You land one of those appointments, you get one listing or one buyer under contract. That ISA has paid their salary for the next 3 months for you. And what happens for you is when you get to the point where you hire that ISA, so you're making decent money, let's say, and you take a few $1,000s a month and you hire this person. Now they're in the business for you 6 hours a day, making you appointments. At some point, you're going to go, okay, I can't take these appointments. I don't have enough time. There's only one of me. That is going to be the time that you go to hire an agent, right? You have opportunity. The agents on my team now, we have agents that just joined end of March and have 16 units under contract. Those are all the opportunities we've built on our team over time because we have a Zillow account. That's an opportunity. So I'm sharing the opportunity I've built through our persona, who we are, and sharing it with them. If they were out on their own, that may not happen. But if they had opportunities and they had all these appointments, that's when you hire a showing partner or a buyer's agent, right? You say, hey, buyer's agent, I have about 4 or 5 appointments a week. I can't go on them all. This is the time that you need to join me so we can build this thing. And then the second thing is get a second ISA and then a third ISA, because if you guys aren't building the business every day, 2 to 3, 4 hours a day in the weeds of building it, we're broke at the time we're not really building the business. We're just servicing. We're out with a client. And then that you have that hamster, who has the hamster wheel effect sometimes, right? Your business does this. Oh, I got a deal. Okay, awesome. Oh, I got 3 deals. Oh my God, I got 5 in the pipeline. But if you service the 5 in the pipeline and you don't fill the pipeline, then you've got the roller coaster effect. My brother-in-law is going through it right now because he won't listen. All right, so our team, we went from having literally 0 agents on our team, which was me, I guess 1 agent. Now we're 55 agents. So now we have the systems and the processes, and it's growing daily. And so the team will sell 1,000 homes this year. So that's my main income source, but I can now leave because I have leverage. I have leadership in place. I actually hired amazing, talented humans. Wow, there's many of them on the planet that can actually run the team without me. And so that is what we build. So if you're sitting in this room and you're like, gosh, you know, I'm at 30 or 40 deals, which I think is probably the perfect amount, 40 transactions. If you can generate 35 to 40, 45 transactions, just under 50 transactions yourself, you're poised perfectly to go, there's a lot of opportunity here. If I just take back some of my time and I repurpose some of the money that I'm making instead of, just buying things, and I start to build this business, now I can start building a flourishing team. That's the physical way to do it. There's some different ways that we'll show you, but that's the physical way to build a team. Our team today, or a team of before, maybe it cost me, I don't know, $5,000 a month to run in expenses. Today it's 175 grand a month to run our company, but it makes us 100 grand a month. So my risk was I make 100 grand a month either selling 15 homes myself, which I used to make 100 grand a month myself, well, maybe about 80. But I did all the work. I did everything and I was miserable. And today I'm gifting the opportunity that we've created to our agents so they can go out, and they're busting their butt right now. But one day we're teaching them right now leverage. We're teaching them leverage like Jen Cervera. Jen Cervera left my team as an agent, which is totally fine. I still support her. She's amazing. She has 3 businesses now. She has 3 businesses. She has 100 agents on your team. 107 agents on her non-physical, low overhead, 0 overhead team. And that is another source of passive income. So she got enough to go, you know what, I can do this. I'm going to go out and I'm going to build multiple streams of income. So we work hard for the money we make. So the key is, again, think about your business as buying back your time, using that money that you guys are creating to either put people in place or start to develop different streams. So this is the slide I'm going to show you that is what I was talking about boasting. I want to show you how many different ways now we've created in the last, I would say 6 or 7 years, but mainly the last 3, all the different streams of income. So I don't even know if they can see that. Oh, you're going to have to click each one. Okay, so the first one, and I'm going to be transparent. My team knows I make $2,000 a transaction on our team, right? I used to make $10,000 a transaction. So as our team grows, what happens? The income starts to go down, or the net starts to go down because I have expenses that are rising. But if I said to Liana, I'll trade you right now, do you want to make $2,000 of 1,000 transactions, or do you want to make $10,000 of your 80? Which one do you want? I think I know the answer, right? It's just that's leverage. So yes, it seems like we're investing and we're like, oh my God, but the goal is to grow the business, to have scalability. So that can be done. And I know team leaders that have been doing it for 5 or 6 years. It doesn't mean you have to be in the business for 50 years to do it. Our stocks. So when we moved here, I think in 2000 and what was it, 9, 10, we never had saved in our life 401k, but our little investment guy said, put $19,500 each, right? So let's call it $40,000 a year away in an investment. So if you're a single agent in here, it's $19,500 compounded over the last 10 years, because we didn't need that 19, that we just throw it away and into the stock market. Even though the stock market has crashed, it's fine. It's crashed before for us. But now there's over $700,000 in that account. And that is growing at a 7 to 8% yearly income. Now, yes, we've got a crash in the market, but we're not looking at it. We don't need it. We're still throwing it in there. And over time, if you look at the stock market, I'm not a stockbroker, it has done and performed well. So that's one way. The stocks from our firm. So I'm very passionate about our firm because I worked at companies that didn't reward me for my income and what I made for the company. So at my company, if I sell 27 homes a year, the $16,000 I pay the company, they reward me in stocks. So we've collected about $500,000 so far in stocks. Well, I say 5 because there's 5 now. I used 150,000 of it to buy 2 rental properties. So we actually used that stock money and leveraged it. Rentals. So an amazing agent on our team, LaDondria, owns 85 rentals. So she's an agent on our team. She loves investments. Her and her husband got into it. She gave me the permission. I don't know why I needed permission, but to say, you know what, I'm going to invest in properties. It's scary. Who has never bought an investment property? Never. Okay. It's amazing. It will build your net worth like you can't imagine, but it was scary to me. And I had the money to do it, but I was still afraid. And LaDondra is like, what are you afraid for? You need your money to lay babies. So go out there and buy one. So we did that. We have 10 properties, 8 are residential properties. That's $3 million in assets. That's gains. And so we're basically, that was our long-term investment strategy. So if any of you are sitting in this room making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, and you're not taking 50 or 60 grand a year and putting it into a property and then letting somebody else pay your debt for the next 20 years, it's almost stealing, right? I mean, you're leveraging your great credit. You're putting 60 grand down on a home that's eventually going to go up in value. I've never seen anybody lose money on a property holding it for 10 years. So I don't care what the interest rates are. Buy and hold, buy and hold, buy and hold. So that if we buy a property a year, by the time we're 60, we'll have, let's say, 20 properties paid for. So that those 20 properties, if we're making $2 grand a month on those properties free and clear, that's $40,000 a year or a month. Who can live on $40,000 a month? All of us, right? So think about that as an investment strategy, one a year or one every 2 years, or have a goal to buy 5 in the next 10 years. We have one Airbnb property. So that one little Sanford house, which I would tell all of you to invest in Sanford, we paid $299. It's worth about $430 right now. Our payment is $1,300. We make about, what does it say here? 37. Yeah, $3,700 a month on that on average. And it's a little house in Sanford. It's a cute little Tudor. So think about Airbnb. That's a great way to leverage your cash flow on some of these rental properties. Revenue sharing. So I call this my leadership coaching income. So helping my company grow and being paid like a broker owner. I got to the point where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So last year, I've been with this company 3 years, never made a phone call to recruit an agent, but for some reason they just keep coming, like Anna. And so Anna is a teammate of mine, right? So she's one of my 1,000 agents now. So I recruited one agent a month, recruited, attracted, whatever you want to call them, because I know how to recruit. KW taught me how to my team. Did they teach you how to recruit?
I wasn't paying attention.
Wasn't paying attention. She wasn't. KW on the
too busy selling houses.
Exactly. On the end of every transaction, they were like, "Who can you recruit the cross deal agent? Can we have their number?" And I was like, "What is this?" I didn't, and they were like, "Well, if you're going to be a team leader, you better learn how to recruit." And I took some recruiting courses from them. That's the business. So they taught me that. One agent a month for 3 years, and the company's paying me 70 grand a month to be here. So that's why I'm doing these things. I don't have to work, right? I get to. This is so fun. It's meeting somebody at the right time, and all of a sudden your mindset shifts. That there were 4 shifts in my life, right? Meeting my husband at 16. I got to meet my life partner at 16. How fun is that? Having my son, right? At becoming a mother. Meeting Mike Ferry, who changed the trajectory of my business, and the firm that I'm with now today, because I get to touch way more lives. So those are the 4 shifts. Hopefully we'll have another one. It's a good one. But for those, those are the 4 that I love. Syndication deals. So we're involved in some groups where they buy apartment buildings. And I learned that a couple years ago through one of our masterminds. So you can buy an apartment complex and put in $30,000 or $50,000. Now you have a group of investors that are buying this massive cash flow property. So we invested $250,000 in the last couple of years. We'll make double that back. We'll make our money back plus a 15 to 20% in 5 years. That's a huge return. Again, you want to put your money into different vehicles that are making you cash flow. We've received 35 referrals from other EXP agents that we network around the nation. That's $300,000 yearly. You want to meet your firm people, Coldwell Banker. Meet everyone at Coldwell Banker. Like literally when a person at Coldwell Banker out of state thinks of Raleigh, they should think of you. And that's what I want our EXP agents to think of. Tina Caul, because I'm in there in workplace loving on everybody and making sure that they see that we're where we are, so our team gets those opportunities. Affiliate agreements. So this I was taught a couple years ago by an amazing agent at EXP who makes $500,000 a year selling coaching products. And I was like, $500,000 a year? She's like, yep, I make them right at home. I teach new agents how to do this, this, and this. And she is not a big producer. She produces 25 to 30 homes a year max. And she's making, sitting at home, putting new little systems together for her agents, making $500,000. It's amazing. So she basically said, if you promote something, let's say I say, go buy RedX. RedX is an amazing dialing system. If you go to my YouTube page, I have a link. If you were to go buy the RedX item, right, I'm going to get a little percentage, just like all those influencers with their outfits, right? And they're making millions of dollars. Our neighbor made, I don't know, over $1 million a year doing influencing. So we learned that. Title company, we just opened a title company, which will be great, another 6 to 10K a month, and a mortgage company, potentially, we have some business dealings of doing that. So the ideas that I could leverage, I could take on 10 coaching clients a month. That's 20K a month, 240K yearly if I wanted to give up more of my time. I could build courses and do boot camps. We could keep, there's so many things that you could do, group trainings. So I want you guys to see this and say, my God, like, it's not how much more do you need? It's when I put my life vest on and I climb the first mountain and I make sure that our family's good for generations, now we can use that money to give back, right? I've always said I wanted to be that person at a table. Oh my God, this is gonna make me cry. At a charity event that, like, literally there's like, hey, we've got $1 million to get to the final goal. And I can just go, I'm done here. This is it. Like, that's fun, like those things to me are worth it. So, okay, maybe it's my time of the month. So, sorry, honey, I'm crying again. He's like, you're always crying in your 40s. I'm like, it's just happy tears. So anyway, I want you guys to know that there are endless possibilities, but the biggest thing is most of you are probably newer. You're trying to think of, how do I sell more homes? But I want you to think about your life in a way of, how do I sell more homes? Yes, that's a great job, a wonderful job. But how do I become a leader? How do I become a coach? How do I leverage what I've learned? How do I make multiple streams of income? Look at those opportunities that are in front of you and start to read about that, because I promise you, like, if you put your focus on that, I always had that focus. I'm like, I'm going to do this. Well, this has been the last 3 years, most of this stuff has developed, and I think there'll be more. So last thing I want to leave you with, a couple little notes, is Anna and Ashley. So a few years ago when I was at KW, I actually sat down and I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I said, I don't have any passive income. I want to create passive income. And my coach said, what's your freedom number? And I was like, well, what's that? And he said, basically, it's all of your costs, for your living and your expenses added up monthly. If you could never work again, how much money do you need to survive? And I said, well, today, because we had some rental properties, I said, it's 30 grand a month. He said, ouch. He said, 30 grand a month passively is so hard to make. If you want to make $3,000 a month passively, you need $1 million in the bank. And you can take out 4% every month, and that's 3% or 4%. And I'm like, 3 grand a month on 9, that's a lot. Like, that's not enough. And he said, you need about $5 million in the bank, cash flow, like sitting there to take 4% off to make the 30 grand a month. It really was it was shocking to me that I needed this much money to pull that much money every month to survive. Like, nobody teaches us that stuff. And so it really got me thinking, but I wanted to, Ashley, unmute yourself, because I always talk to them about this, their freedom money, their freedom plan. What is your freedom number?
About, just to cover basic expenses, about $5,000.
So $5,000, if you couldn't work again, at least covers all of your bills.
Yes.
And right now, how much passive income have you created in the last year? Because I know she never listened either. And then finally she woke up one day, she's like, I need to do this. And I said, okay, let's do it. So now where are you at?
About I would say on average, about $2,000 a month.
2,000 a month. And that covers what?
Covers my house payment and my car payment.
House payment and car payment. So if she got sick and couldn't work for a month, at least her house payment or car payments are covered. And I think that's huge. So round of applause to you, girl. For you, what's your freedom number?
Like 15,000 a month.
Oh,
Yeah.
Look at her. She's like, okay.
And if it's a freedom number, yeah.
And we're being open and honest. I mean, where are you at with passive income?
Yeah, so I have about 10 in my group, and I mean, we've had a month where we've had $1,500 come in. So
I love that.
yeah,
I love that.
on
That
average
was
lower,
amazing.
but yeah.
And you created, you've got your store.
Right.
You've got this business.
Yep.
You've got a team.
Yep.
You've got a virtual team.
Yep.
So you've got about 4 or 5
Yep.
ways. Oh, you've got stocks,
Yep. I
right?
just got an alert today.
Do you have investment properties that you own?
Mhm.
So she's on her way to being a multimillionaire. I love that. Good for you. That's awesome. Good for you. Yeah, so I think that you just have to remember success takes time, right? It takes a plan, it takes a vision. It takes a decade sometimes. Like, I want you guys to think of your 10-year goal. Everyone's always focused on 1 year. And I think people overestimate what they can do in a year. They underestimate what they can do in 10. And so think of your 10-year goal. How many streams of income do I want? What do I want to invest in? Am I going to build a team? Am I going to build a virtual team, or am I going to build a physical team, right? A physical team is more expensive. I think that, you know, the difference for me was consistency is key. I'm always very consistent. Let's put this much money away every single year. It's not sexy, it's not fun, but wow, 10 years later, and look what it's grown to. And it takes action. So I'll leave you guys with my favorite quote, and then we can open up for questions. The ship you're waiting for to come in may very well be the ship you need to build. No one's coming to save you, right? All right, so that's all I got, people. That's all I got. So I guess we can open it up to questions. Mark Zervos, you are not the only male. That is so funny. I don't know if he's still on here.
I have a question.
Okay, Terry.
So when you start a team or a group, right, within EXP, what type of liabilities are you taking on? Does a team have to be a financial split? I mean, I kind of get it, but then there's other aspects to where I guess I kind of don't, you know what I mean? I see teams that take 50%, you know, but they also generate the leads and keep these folks busy, which is kind of what I get from you. But does that team take liability? Is there an EO aspect that gets in the middle between you and EXP? Do you need an additional business license? What are the meat and potatoes of doing it?
So a team within any company, Coal Banker, Remax, Keller Williams, EXP, a team just means that you have enough business. Like, I tell people, don't start a team unless you are like flooded with business and you can't service it, or you're willing to invest a lot of money to grow a team. You need leadership, you need accountability, you need mentorship, you do need leads and opportunities. So if I have a team where it's a 50-50 split, right, there's no liability more so than you being an individual agent at a Remax office. You have your same E&O, everything's covered. You just decided to build a team, and how you want to dedicate your splits is your business. You could do 50-50. I have some people that offer no leads, nothing, no coaching. You get the team name, and it's a 75-25. So the agent pays 25% of every transaction, but the transactions don't come from the team. And to me, it's like, that doesn't resonate with me. I feel like it needs to be a win-win. So, but yeah, your liability doesn't go up.
Okay.
Yeah, because your broker takes on that liability. Now our broker's here
Our
somewhere.
brokers are.
Oh, there she is.
Brokers.
Hi, Tiffany.
So
Oh,
what about the branded names? So say you call yourself the ice cream group, you know what I mean? What is that, just something that you put forward to the marketing group and say, hey, that this is what I want to be?
Yeah, you're just the ice cream group powered by your company, and that's it.
Perfect.
So whatever
you know what? You guys were here today for something that I was already chasing, so thank you.
Good job,
And
Terry.
you guys can probably chime in. I think unless you have your own office, dedicated office space, no additional firm license is necessary on team. Is that correct?
Say that again.
They're just saying, I think it's, I
She
know
was
I
just
have-
saying like the liability, the E&O,
yeah,
she was
yeah.
worried about that.
Yeah.
So-
I heard her say something about additional business information or whatever, and I know we had to get a firm license because we were in this space versus just using 42 or whatever, 6 Forks Road.
Yeah,
So I know that that's the only, I think, other sticking point is depending on. Yeah.
Perfect. I know, sorry, it's hard for you all to hear.
Yeah.
I know, they're like, what? You have a question?
Oh, no. I was just going to, just one thing you kind of glossed over a little bit. For the ISA is certainly the first hire. I think people would have the question of what about the transaction coordinator? And I think initially, agree with me or disagree with me, you can outsource all of that.
They're not salaried,
You don't
right?
have to hire
The
anybody.
first
You can
salary
outsource
should be
that
your,
for like
yeah.
$400 a deal. There's plenty of people that'll do your transaction coordination.
Yeah, a salaried position to me is that growth partner. Who's gonna be prospecting for me when I'm not? And we all know we don't do it for 2 hours a day, even every single day. So if you're not building your business and there's nobody funneling in business or reaching out to customers, then you're not growing. You're pretty much stagnant or dying. And so that's where if I went back and rebuilt my business, the first thing I would do is not be an ISA, because I was an ISA. That's what Mike Ferry groomed me to be. Pick up the phone and smile, dial, and make a pile. Okay, that's awesome. But for 2 hours a day, and then when I got really busy, it went down to an hour a day, and then I never needed to prospect because I had so much business coming out of my ears. So that was a mistake. That was a leverage miss, and I don't want agents to miss that leverage piece ever again. So, yes, ma'am.
I know this is a mindset thing. How do you go about hiring that ISA if you yourself are not going to be the person to say, hey, this is how you, I mean, you can say this is how you do it, but
Make the calls or
yeah,
whatever. That's a great question, because a lot of you are not like trained to be like these cold calling machines. There are ISA training programs, right? So you're going to invest in the ISA. You're going to put them in a training program. You're going to get them a coach. There are numerous programs. One that I love is Jackie Kravitz. Jackie is one of my partners here at EXP. She used to be a massive coach at KW and joined us. She runs Sales X training. So for any of you that want to get really good at expireds and FSBOs and all of that jazz, if you go to my YouTube page, you'll see a link in there, and she gave us a Freedom Builders discount, which I'll get a little affiliate agreement on. So it's a very small, but whatever, it's fun. It's like $1,000 comes a month, and we're like, wow, this is cool. But nonetheless, that is a great training program. So I would put my ISAs in that training program and let them learn.
And would you say, how do you know that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing? Like, I don't have a brick and mortar.
You want them,
person who's
yeah,
gonna show up.
you could actually have them. That's a great question. She said, how do you know they're doing what they need to be doing? My ISAs are driven by making money. So if you're going to pay somebody a few thousand a month, they're not living on that. That is like poverty level. So if they're not motivated, they're not going to pick up the phone. So our ISAs are amazing. You know, they're making 10, 15 appointments a week because V is like, oh my God, look how much money I made last month. She's so motivated and she's making more money than she could ever dream. To me, that's the best role of the business, and they're so important. I don't want to depend on my agents. No offense, I love you all. I don't want to depend on them or myself to contact a lead the minute it comes in. Like, I'm busy. When I thought of myself like in the car before and going from appointment to appointment, leads would come in, and I'm sure they're falling to the wayside because you're busy. So if I'm going to be paying money for leads and a lead comes in, the last person I want is our salespeople to call that lead back, because they are busy. They should be out servicing and being with customers and calling their own leads. So that ISA is like a point of like, it's a miss if you don't have somebody servicing potential new business.
So is the ISA calling expireds and FSBOs, and then they're also following up with anybody else that comes in the pipeline?
Everybody, yep.
Okay. And
Or past clients, they can call, like if you're like, oh, I don't want to call FSBOs and expireds because I don't want to go on those appointments. Some of you are thinking that too. I don't want to go on those appointments. Have them call your past clients. Okay. Have them love on your people, your list. Have them call in your neighborhood. You want to dominate your neighborhood? ISA calls every single time in that neighborhood. You have a open house, and then you have a party for the neighbors, and you invite all the neighbors, and then the ISA is calling back all those leads. Basically, they're calling back the way you've set up your business. Whoever you should be calling every day for 2 hours, they're calling every day for 6.
Yeah. And Liana, there are call services that you can get, like CallRail or Ruby or anything that you just call through and have the numbers go through that record all the calls.
Yes.
So you can go back at night and
CallRail. I love that.
Listen to them and just see what's happening.
And some of my team leaders around the nation that are in our group will actually put the ISA on Zoom. So they're just like, they're on Zoom. So if the agent's at their computer, so is the ISA, right? And or you can record the sessions.
We have an hour each week, or 1 or 2 hours, and she puts an hour Google Calendar, and we Zoom with her. And we'll be calling people, and she calls people, but
it's motivating. Yeah.
I hear her talk to clients. She has no fear. And
no
if I
fear.
look at her, I'm like, okay, Jordan, you do what? I'm like, okay.
Exactly.
And like, she helps me. So.
Yeah. So our ISA helps our agents by getting on Zooms with them, is what Jordan was saying. And then they feel more comfortable because they're listening to somebody that does it. Think about this. Every major organization across North America has an ISA department. Hotels, people that need to book rooms. I mean, coaching companies, they're people reaching out every single day to bring customers in. Realtors fail to do that. We think we need to do everything self-gen. If it's to be, it's up to me. Well, a business is marketing department, HR department, sales, systems. There's so much the business. And so I would say, look at what you're great at. If you're a person that, has, you're great at putting together systems, then put them together. I suck at it. So I had to hire that out. I'm good at meeting people. I'm good at, going on appointments. I'm good at presenting, I think. And, that was my jam. So I wanted to do that and stay in my lane. That's why I hired everything else out. And then the business started to grow.
What do they get for a percentage? You said it's 2 to 3K a month plus a percentage.
They 5% override. Yep. And agents can share in that. I mean, the agents are thrilled because the ISA is throwing them appointments and they're like, great, done.
Yeah.
So it's a leverage source for them. So that's why even our agents on our team, I might say, hey, we're 50-50 splits. I make 2,000, their net is 4,500, but they have a whole world set up for them. They don't have to spend 175 grand a month. They can go on their own and then set that up themselves. But that 50-50, that 50% that they were going to save, they're still gonna have to spend 20 or 30% over here to hire the infrastructure that it takes to be alone. So if they can make 20% more on their own, some of them might say, I think I wanna do that because I wanna do it myself. Cool, go, that's awesome. And today, if my agents leave my team, they're still my business partners like Jen Cervera, who now runs her own business. And that's awesome because she, I'm not here to stop anyone from doing what they wanna do. And I'm so proud of her for having multiple streams of income now. And she's a team leader, right? She's a smarter team leader than me. If you think about it, you have 107 agents on your team with zero overhead. I have 60 agents on my team with 175 grand a month in overhead. And her team will grow faster and be more profitable. I mean, luckily I have the other 1,000, but I'm just saying. Yeah, forgot them.
Where do you find a good ISA?
ISA, where do you find a good ISA? So an ISA, car dealerships have ISAs, and right now there's no cars for them to sell. So if you actually put your information into 4 or 5 different car dealerships, you're gonna get 4 ISAs that reach out to you, hopefully. I'm gonna offer the one that was most aggressive a job. That's a great way to find an ISA.
What do you mean put your stuff in the cart?
Like if you say, I'm looking for a new Cadillac, right? The ISA gets that lead. And then it's up to them to call you back to get you into the dealership to buy that Cadillac.
So that you recruit them right on the phone.
Oh, I might say, hey, no.
I mean, is that how you're doing it?
Pretty much. You might say, oh, Joe, gosh, how long have you worked at, Hendrick Cadillac? You're so good on the phones. My question, I have the same role in my business. Like our ISAs make about 75, 80, 100 grand a year. Like, what do you guys make at Hendrick? 40? Oh, awesome. He's like all ears, right? So it's just kind of, you want somebody that's going to attack the phones. That's going to be quick. That's going to be sharp and not give up. So I'm not going to call any of the ISAs back from the dealership. I'm going to see which one hounds me. That's the one I want.
So we have more about the Cadillac. You still on the Cadillac?
Not really. I'm not a Cadillac girl. That's the old me. I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. I actually love Cadillacs. Any other questions from you all or online? We're not forgetting you all. There's 30 of you on here. Any questions?
What about companies like Phone Animal and stuff? Are they still?
Phone Animal. Oh, there are companies that will do ISA phone service for you. I've tried them. Phone Animal is one. We tried them years ago. I like to have our people be on our team because I want them to feel like a part of the team. Those are more part-time ISA services, but they do work. I mean, they made me appointments. I just didn't love the overall return because the ISA needs to know the area a little bit. So if somebody says, if the ISA is reading, oh, you're in Fuqua, Varina, and because they're in Dallas, they don't know, then the consumer's like, Fuqua, so I want them to be here. They don't have to be, but they can. If they talk about, commissions and all those things. Ours literally make appointments. That's it. And they're calling leads that have basically come into us and our past clients. So they're really big on calling our past clients. Okay, I see a question here. Tina, I've been following you for well over a year on social. I'd love to speak with you about building a business. I also read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I realized the richest people owned real estate, owned businesses and investments. I got into real estate a couple years ago and I can't read this. Have zero leads, not great with tech or social media, wouldn't mind hiring someone for lack of skills, just to see going to 9 to 5 or going from a 9 to 5 into real estate is hard. Are you completely into real estate? I have rheumatoid arthritis and my health declines every 5 years, only 37. That's depressing. I don't have energy. Okay. So, oh, thank you, Mark. I guess that was my little direct message and I shouldn't have read it out loud. Okay. Sorry, Monica. I love you. We'll be in touch. Email me. I'll help you. Sorry. That's why I'm blind. I was like, God, this seems so personal. I'm sorry. That is so funny. No. Okay. Okay, since there's no other questions, I think we'll let you all go on Zoom because I want to be mindful of your time. And thank you all for showing
I
up.
have a question.
Yes.
Thank you.
You guys have made lots of like risky leaps, I guess, in your life that have led to like a lot of gain.